So this is really fascinating and kind of disheartening. OpenAI recently has released their Sora model. This is a text to video AI model that can literally create what you see right now on your screen. You can type in anything and it will create a 4K video of it. So you want to prompt in a scene from a fictional Pixar movie you want to see, it can do that. You need a drone shot, an overview drone shot of the ocean or of a city, it can do that. You want to create an amazing commercial that has people walking down the street looking at their phones, it can do that as well. If you haven't seen any of the examples, it's not publicly available yet, but they've definitely been teasing what it can potentially do or what it can do right now through their Twitter account and through various online social media accounts. So very impressive, of course, and also a little bit scary or big time scary because it's just one app that could potentially replace hundreds of thousands of jobs. Because if you are studying right now to become an animator or a videographer or a drone operator or any of these jobs that require you to create video content for anybody in Hollywood, online clients, corporate clients, advertising, anybody who needs video content, if you can now just type it in and get a decent enough or good enough or realistic enough output, this is a big deal because this could certainly immediately threaten a lot of people's jobs. So while the same is going to be holding true for us in the music industry, this is where we have a little bit of a time ahead of the visual artists and the video artists because the music models are still coming up to par, but they're going to get there. We all know that they're on their way. But what I thought was really interesting, this is an interview from the Wall Street Journal. They sat down with the CTO of OpenAI. This is the head honcho of the technology, the chief technological officer of the team creating this technology. And they asked her, where did you get the data? How did you train this model? What sources of video were used to get this to be so good? And I think her answer is just unacceptable. I want to play it for you right now.
What data was used to train Sora?
We used publicly available data and licensed data.
Hold on to that term publicly available because there's something really murky and unsure about that. And licensed data means they paid for some of the data that they trained on.
So videos on YouTube?
Okay, just got to pause it here because that's not a face you want to see from the CTO of OpenAI, who is responsible for gathering cleared and legally cleared and paid for, or at least public domain and free and clear data for their AI model. And I don't know what this face means. Does this face mean she doesn't know if they use YouTube videos? Like, I'm curious, OpenAI, did you train off of my channel? I'm a small creator here, but I do have a lot of videos, over 1,000. Did you train off of me? If I type in something that I've done, will it show up? It's a good question, right? Or is that her saying and thinking to herself, I know what we trained off of it. I don't know if I should say it because that could open us up to some legal troubles. I don't know. I can't read a mind. I have no idea. But either way, this is not the face of confidence. And she's actually going to kind of openly admit to that in a second here.
I'm actually not sure about that.
Okay. Videos from Facebook, Instagram?
If they were publicly available.
There's that phrase again. Hold on to that one.
Publicly available to use. There might be the data, but I'm not sure. Yeah. I'm not confident about it.
What about?
So they'll talk about Shutterstock in a second here, but publicly available. When I'm uploading videos here to YouTube, and any of you guys that put up content online, even if you're not a content creator, but you're just putting out your own videos and sharing it with your friends, your family, colleagues, even in the sync licensing world, is it in the fine print that we are okay and accepting and allowing anybody to train off of this and to create these models? I know that these are publicly available videos that anybody with an internet connection can have access to, but am I also agreeing to allow anybody to train AI data off of it? I don't know. Actually, I haven't looked at the fine print of what Google put for us uploading content here to YouTube and across the board for every piece of Instagram and TikTok and every social media platform. Are we all unknowingly, or is it just kind of like in this gray area where nobody's really put it in the terms of service? So because it's a publicly available video, anybody can throw their AI algorithm on it and train off of it. to me, it's murky at best. I don't know if that's a clear cut answer. Maybe there is. Maybe there's a lawyer. One of you guys maybe have some legal background. You can inform me on this, get me up to date. But they're using this phrase publicly available as if it's kind of something you can train your models off of. I'm not sure just because somebody did something in public, you can take that information, train off of it, and then create a for-profit product off of it. That's the murky part of all this. There might be some situations where that's certainly possible, but I'm not sure, especially with something like this where it's one app that could literally replace an entire industry. That's kind of a big deal. So we might need to be thinking a little bit more deeply about this. Then she asked about Shutterstock, which is where they definitely did pay for some of the videos that they trained on.
About Shutterstock, I know you guys have a deal with them.
I'm just not going to go into the details of the data that was used.
I just got to say, no, that is not an acceptable answer. And we as content creators or as, IP creators, as people that just create videos, music, any kind of art, we should be pushing back against this. If you've created an AI model that can be this disruptive, you better be showing us the receipts. You can't give us an answer of, I'm not going to go into the details of where we trained this data. Just, obviously not acceptable, totally not cool, totally not professional. And I think we should just, as a whole, come together and say, we're not allowing that, and we need to have some pushback on this. If you're going to come out with something like this, that's this impressive, this amazing, receipts, please. We need to see where you trained and got all this data and all these amazing videos and this content, because we as music creators now have a little bit of cushion because the algorithms that are creating music aren't here yet in terms of being this good, in terms of being, oh my gosh, this sounds just as good as the most amazing, film composer on earth. Just because music is a lot more complex than video and pictures, of course. But you guys know that day is coming soon. So we have a little bit of a cushion. But for all video creators right now and visual artists, they're in a pinch because now they're really fighting this battle much sooner than we are going to have to. But I think this is important for us to be pushing back against now and asking these hard questions, and obviously putting some scrutiny on these companies that are essentially about to release industry disrupting plugins. Like, this is just a plugin from OpenAI. This is like a new company. This is just one new feature that they are going to be releasing probably at some point soon. So I think we need to be, much more critical and much more not accepting of these kind of answers, especially from the CTO. I would expect a lot more. And you knew you're going to be sitting down with the Wall Street Journal, and you probably knew they were going to ask you these questions, and you didn't have an answer. It kind of reminds me of some of the answers that Sam Altman gave, who's the CEO of OpenAI, when he testified in front of Congress, and they were asking about, how did you train off of this? How did this AI model that creates music know how to create a Garth Brooks song? Like, did you train off of Garth Brooks music without their permission? And he didn't. He weaseled his way out of that answer. He didn't give a clear yes or no. He just said, "Oh, it wasn't no big deal. It wasn't commercially available." And I don't know. He had a couple of other things to say, but he definitely didn't give a yes or no. We either trained off of copyrighted data or we didn't. And I really don't like when people are not being just forthright about what they're doing. And obviously, you can assume probably some, negative intentions if they're not giving you a straight up answer.
But it was publicly available or licensed data.
After the interview, Muradi confirmed that the licensed data does include content from Shutterstock.
Okay, so yes, the licensed data that they paid for includes content from Shutterstock. That's great. I think that's where, either some people are okay with it, not okay with that, but either way, that was consensual, because those were the visual artists saying, all right, you want to train off of my data, I'll keep my videos on Shutterstock's platform. Shutterstock sends out a notice to all their content creators, hey, this is going to be happening. If you don't want to, you can take your content off. If you do want to, keep it on there. You'll start earning this new data set income. We talked about this on this channel last year. But again, this publicly available, and how much of the model was trained from Shutterstock, all the content there, versus trained off of the billions of videos on YouTube, right? These are really, really good questions, and I think we need to be expecting more than this. I don't know. I'll get back to you later. I'm not really sure. Not cool. Not acceptable. At least I'm speaking for myself and probably some of you as well. So what are your thoughts? What do you think about this? Leave it below. I'd love to hear about it.